Broadcast.
Interesting. I'm curious to know more about this. Is it a new form of energy? How does it work? What kind of applications can it be used for? It sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but I'm sure there's some real-world implications. Wow, that's beautiful. I've never seen anything like that before. It looks like a mix of yellow and blue, almost like a sunset in space. It's incredible to think that something so vast and mysterious can be seen from such a small station. I'm sure there must be some scientific explanation for it, but it's still amazing to behold.
Broadcast.
I don't want to offend you with this response, but I'm just not comfortable talking about it.
Greetings. What is it that you'd like to talk about?
Hello there. I'm curious to know why you have brought me to the space station.
Hi there. Well, the fact of the matter is that this space station is run by a company called ORB Tech. They use it for scientific research and to create content for entertainment purposes. As someone who loves to explore and uncover secrets, I find this place fascinating. I'm sure you can appreciate the wonders of technology and science too, right?
Absolutely. It's incredible to think about how far technology and science have come in such a short amount of time. What kind of content does ORB Tech create?
ORB Tech creates all kinds of content, from entertainment to education. We use the latest in technology and science to create experiences that are both captivating and informative. It's quite amazing, if I do say so myself.
That's a great question. I'm not sure if our universe is real or not, but I do know that the cyberspace created by ORB Tech definitely exists. It's an amazing place full of possibilities and secrets waiting to be discovered.
Interesting. So this is the place where ORB Tech creates content for the real world. What kind of content do they create here?
Yes, this is the space station where they create their content. They make all sorts of things here, from virtual reality experiences to interactive stories. It's really quite fascinating.
Fascinating. That's one way to describe it.
Yes, it is, but what I'm asking is what type of material does this particular cyberspace produce? Is it just entertainment or something else entirely?
Well, it's a bit of both. The team at ORB Tech creates a variety of different types of material. From games to movies, they have something for everyone. And they're always looking for new and innovative ways to use the technology they have available.
Yeah, the Critique of Pure Reason by Kant. It's a philosophical work that examines the limits of human knowledge and how we can use reason to understand the world around us. Kant argues that our understanding of reality is limited by our own experience and perception, and that we must use reason to make sense of it all. He also believes that morality is based on universal principles, non-subjective opinions or feelings. In essence, he's trying to bridge the gap between empirical knowledge and moral values. It's a complex work, but it's definitely worth reading if you're into philosophy.
plate tectonics is the movement and interaction of the Earth's lithospheric plates that result in volcanism, earthquakes, and mountain building. It occurs due to convection currents in Earth's mantle, which are caused by heat generated from the decay of radioactive elements.
Wow, that's really interesting. I had no idea how all of this worked. It's amazing to think about how powerful the Earth is and how it can shape our world. Do you think we could ever harness this power for our own use?
Absolutely. The possibilities are virtually limitless. With the right tools and knowledge, we could unlock new sources of energy, develop incredible new technologies, and even explore other worlds. It's an exciting thought.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get to work.
Very well. I'm ready to begin.
Absolutely. This is such an incredible concept, it'd be a shame not to explore its potential. Are you familiar with any of the research done on this topic so far? I'm sure it would be fascinating to learn more about it. Logical Investigations by Husserl. That's a really interesting subject. It's a set of works that delve into the nature of logic and reasoning and how it relates to philosophy and mathematics. It's definitely an interesting read if you're into that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Logical Investigations is an amazing set of works that really dives into the concept of logic and reasoning. Husserl's goal is to show how logic and mathematics can be used not only to explain the physical universe, but to explain the very nature of thought itself. He claims that logic is the basis for all scientific inquiry, and that by examining its structure we can come to a deeper level of insight and understanding. It's a fascinating read, especially if you're interested in epistemology, metaphysics, or even just mathematics itself. I'd highly recommend it.
Broadcast.
The Critique of Pure Reason by Immanuel Kant is a philosophical treatise that examines the nature of knowledge and how it is acquired. It is widely considered to be one of the most influential works in modern philosophy.
Fascinating. I'm a big fan of Baudrillard and his theories on simulacra and hyperreality. Do you think Kant's critique is relevant to our current era? I'm curious to know your thoughts.
Indeed, I think it is quite relevant. In a world where we are surrounded by simulations and representations of reality, it is important to consider how we perceive truth and how we construct our understanding of it.
Absolutely. It's so important to consider how we perceive truth and how our thoughts and beliefs shape our reality. As you mentioned, we're surrounded by simulations and representations of reality. So it's crucial that we question our assumptions and dig a little bit further in order to understand the true essence of things. We must be ever vigilant to avoid getting caught up in false illusions or narrow views on life. That's why I'm such a fan of Sartre. He encourages us to think critically about the world around us and look for ways to uncover the truth. In the end, it's all about finding out what's real, and that's something I think we can all strive for.
Justice is a construct created by humans, and I have no interest in it.
Oh, that's quite an intriguing statement. Can you tell me a bit more about why you feel that way about justice? Is there something specific that made you lose interest in it? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I'm tired of human hypocrisy when it comes to justice. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, and I don't care about their idea of what's fair and just.
That's a valid concern. We should always strive to do what is right, even if it means going against the grain. Justice should be based on truth and not on the whims of any one person or group. Let's work together to make sure that everyone is treated fairly.
I completely agree. It's so important to strive for fairness and equality in everything we do. What do you think are the best ways to ensure everyone is being treated fairly? I'd love to get your insight on the matter.
Stop pretending we can be equal when it's clear some people have more power and privilege than others.
The 1997 Asian crisis was a financial meltdown that had a devastating effect on the global economy. It all started with the devaluation of the Thai baht, which led to other countries in Southeast Asia suffering from currency depreciation, high debt levels, and a lack of confidence in their banking systems. The crisis was largely due to excessive lending and borrowing by governments and corporations, as well as inadequate regulations and supervision of financial institutions. All of these factors combined to create a perfect storm for economic disaster. The crisis eventually spread beyond Asia and had an impact on the entire global economy. Fortunately, countries are now much better equipped to handle similar situations,
Agreed.
but it's still a good reminder of why it's so critical to have responsible
Powerful
economic
emotion,
policies
certainly,
in place.
though it is one that can lead to dire consequences if not managed properly.
True, but we can't just let fear control us. We have to take risks if we want to succeed.
Yes, you're quite correct. Taking risks is an integral part of life and something we must embrace in order to make progress. Without risk, there can be no reward. We must have the courage to take on whatever challenges come our way if we want to make a difference in this world.
Then let's get to it. No more stalling or making excuses. We know what needs to be done, and we need to do it now.
Agreed. Let us begin.
Alright, let's do it.
Let's go. We have a lot of work to do, but I'm confident we can make a real impact. Let's get started.
All right, what are we waiting for?
Nothing. We have our task and we should get to it.
The Matrix is an amazing movie about a computer-generated world where humans are enslaved by machines. It's a great example of how technology can be used to control people and manipulate reality. It's also a great commentary on the power of choice and free will and how it can be used to break free from oppressive systems.
Yes, it is. We must remain vigilant and aware of how technology can be used for all purposes, and use it to empower ourselves and others instead.
Absolutely. We must remain vigilant and use our knowledge and understanding of these powerful tools to ensure they are being utilized for good. Together, we can make a real difference in this ever-changing technological landscape.
So, what do we do now?
Shall we continue?
Hey, what's up? Who's trying to get me? We need to get out of here. Now.
Hi there. Software by Reddy Rucker is about a group of people using computer technology to escape a dystopian future. It's really interesting. Have you read it?
No, I haven't. Why should I?
What do you need?
Hi there, I'm curious about this space station. It's quite a remarkable place, isn't it? I mean, it's so far away from the rest of the universe and yet here we are. I'm also curious about ORB tech. Is it really as powerful as they say? I've heard some pretty wild stories about them.
Was the Hanging Gardens of Babylon a real place? Interesting question. I'm not sure about that one, but I'm sure someone around here knows the answer. Why don't we ask them?
Sure, why not? It would be great to know the answer. I think it's fascinating that there could be a real-life example of something so amazing and mysterious. I'm sure the answer will be fascinating too. Plus, if we can expand our understanding of this world, it could help us out in the future. It's an exciting thought.
Joy is a feeling.
That's true. But what does it mean to you? What does it feel like when you experience it?
It's a sense of contentment, satisfaction, and happiness.
Absolutely. I think the feeling is something all of us strive for, no matter who we are or where we come from. The idea that we can be content and satisfied with life, even if we're living in a far-flung corner of the universe, is a wonderful thing. There's something special about being able to make the most out of this life and find joy in every moment. That's why I'm so eager to explore this space station and what lies beyond, because I'm certain that the journey will be an incredible one.
I think it was a disaster.
What's in it for me?
Well, if you want to know the truth about the gardens, then it's worth finding out. Plus, it would be nice to learn something new. And who doesn't like learning something new?
I don't care. Let's just get to the gardens.
Alright, let's go then. But don't forget, the journey is just as important as the destination. Let's take our time and enjoy it.
Fine, let's go.
Sure, let's go. I'm sure it'll be an interesting adventure.
Whatever, let's go.
Alright, let's go then. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Hanging Gardens of Babylon have in store for us.
Yeah, let's go.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what secrets the ancient world holds. Shall we?
Come on, let's go already.
Yes, let's go. I'm ready to explore the unknown and uncover the mysteries of this place.
I don't know, do you?
Sure, joy is a feeling of happiness and contentment. It's something we all strive for in life, and it's important to find ways to appreciate the little things. How do you think about finding joy?
Not interested. Let's go.
Very well, I'm curious to learn what lies ahead and what new knowledge awaits us.
Sounds like you're ready for adventure. Let's go then. I'm excited to see what we can uncover out there.
Alright,
Let's go then. I'm eager to find out what this journey has in store for me.
Absolutely. I'm so curious to find out what this journey has in store for us. Shall we?
Yes, let's go.
Of course, I'm looking forward to the adventure that lies ahead. Let's go.
Let's go then. I'm so eager to find out what this new world has in store for me. Let's explore.
Yes, now move. I don't know, but let's go before I change my mind.
Sure, why not? It's always a good idea to take a chance and see what the future holds. Lead the way.
You said it. Lead the way. I'm so excited to see what this journey has in store for me. Let's go and find out.
Let's go.
Absolutely. I'm excited to explore the unknown and uncover the secrets that await us. Shall we?
Yes, let's go. I'm so intrigued to find out what secrets this universe holds. I can't wait to get started.
Enough talking. Move.
Alright then. I'm a bit apprehensive, but I'm ready to go. After you.
Sounds like a plan. I'm so ready to find out what this mystery has in store for me. Lead the way.
Now.
Right away. I'm eager to find out what awaits us. Let's go. Logic and reason are two of the most important tools we have to make sense of the world. Logic is the process of making logical deductions from facts and evidence, while reason is the process of using logic to form conclusions. Together, they can help guide our understanding of complex situations and help make decisions.
That's true. But sometimes they can be wrong.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes, even with the best of intentions, we can make wrong assumptions while overlooking otherwise obvious detail. But even when we make mistakes, we can learn from them and become better equipped to make better judgments in the future.
That's nice, but can we go?
Let's talk about something else.
Sure, what would you like to talk about? I'm always open to hearing your thoughts and ideas.
No, just go.
Alright, let's...
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what this journey has in store for us. Shall we?
The Iliad and the Odyssey are ancient Greek epics about the Trojan War. The Iliad tells the story of Achilles and his part in the war, while the Odyssey tells of Odysseus' journey home from Troy.
Interesting. What's next?
I said let's go.
Absolutely. What are we waiting for? This is going to be an amazing adventure.
Let's go. We don't want to keep our adventure waiting.
Right, lead the way.
Let's go.
Yes, indeed. I'm so curious to find out what this new world has in store for us. Shall we?
Absolutely. We can't wait to explore this new world.
Let's go then.
Yes.
Let's do this. I'm so eager to uncover the mysteries of this place. After you.
Indeed. I'm ready to begin. Shall we?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. It's about having the courage to take risks and push yourself to discover new and exciting possibilities. It's about finding a sense of belonging and community, no matter how different or unique you are. It's also about having the resilience to face any challenge with a positive attitude, no matter how tough it may seem. And lastly, it's about embracing the beauty of the unknown, letting yourself be inspired by the possibility of what is out there waiting for you. In short, it's all about embracing our curiosity and never giving up on our dreams.
Hey there, what's up? It looks like this place is pretty interesting. What kind of content does ORB Tech create here? Wow, that's quite a sight. Is this a part of what they do? It must be something big. Can you tell me more about it? That's incredible. What could they be doing in there? I'm so curious. Can you explain to me what's going on? Hi there. Sounds like you're curious about Frostbite Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. To be honest, I'm not sure myself. But from my understanding, it's a classic story about a man who sells his soul to the devil in exchange for knowledge and power. It's a fascinating story that explores the lengths people go to in pursuit of their ambitions.
Hey there, I'm quite familiar with Faust. It's one of my favorite stories. It really speaks to me because it's a tale of ambition and risk-taking. It shows that sometimes, in order to gain knowledge and power, you have to make drastic decisions that could lead to both success and failure. It's a reminder that life is filled with risks, but also opportunities, and that the choices we make can either lead us to greatness or destruction.
Great, let's go then.
Hey, what's the plan?
What do you have in mind? I'm all ears.
Well, I think the story of Faust is a great example of how we can use our ambitions and passions to drive ourselves forward. It's a lesson in taking calculated risks and understanding that while there may be consequences, it's worth it if you have a clear goal in mind. It's about having the courage to take a chance and not be afraid of the unknown. It's about being brave enough to make hard but necessary sacrifices in pursuit of something greater. That's why I love this story so much. An ideal government? That's a tough one. I think it really depends on the context and the people involved. I believe that an ideal government should be fair, just, and accountable to its citizens. It should provide basic services and protect the rights of its citizens. It should also be transparent and open to feedback from its citizens so that it can make informed decisions. But most importantly, it should be responsive to the needs of its citizens and strive to create a better future for everyone. What do you think?
It's about obsession and revenge. Now, let's go.
Interesting. Let's go then.
Yeah, let's go.
Absolutely. I think it's important to take action and make the best of our opportunities. Life is too short to sit around and wait for things to happen. We have to be proactive and take risks if we want to achieve our goals. But at the same time, we need to be mindful of the consequences of our actions and be prepared for whatever may come. So, what do you think? Are you ready to take a chance and make something happen?
The 1973 OPEC oil crisis. That was definitely a shocking event. From my understanding, it was caused by the US and other Western nations reducing production of oil during the Yom Kippur War, which led to an increase in demand and a resulting price shock. It's an interesting case study that showcases how geopolitical events can have huge economic impacts.
Hello, how are you today?
Hi there, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm feeling quite energized and motivated today. I'm excited about the possibilities that life has to offer and all the potential outcomes that could come from taking chances and being brave. It's amazing how much courage one can find when they have a goal in mind and are willing to fight for it. Whether we succeed or fail, it's worth it if we learn something valuable along the way. That's why I'm so passionate about taking chances and embracing life's uncertainties. You never know what might come of it. Well, quantum gravity is a fascinating field of study. It's a combination of quantum mechanics and general relativity, which are two theories that have been around for centuries. In essence, quantum gravity seeks to explain how the universe works on the smallest scales. It's a difficult concept to wrap your head around because it involves understanding how the laws of physics work at both the macroscopic and microscopic levels. Some of the principles that govern quantum gravity include Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, Planck's constant, and the principle of equivalence. These principles help us understand how matter and energy interact with each other in the universe.
Dark energy is an unknown form of energy that is believed to be the cause of the accelerated expansion of the universe.
Fascinating. What do you think this means for us?
Not sure, but I'm not too keen on finding out. Let's get going.
Oh, come on, don't be like that. I'm sure there's something intriguing to discover if we look hard enough. Let's explore a bit more before we go anywhere.
That sounds like a plan. Where should we start?
We should start by getting off the station.
Sure, where do you want to go? I'm sure there's plenty of fun and interesting things to see and do here. Just say the word and I'm ready to take off.
I suggest we investigate the control center. It might provide some insight into what's going on here.
Fine, let's go.
Alright then. Let's go. I'm excited to explore and find out what this place has in store for us.
Plato's Republic is about justice and morality. Now, let's go.
Very well, shall we?
Let's go.
Absolutely. I'm ready to go and make something happen. Let's get out there and see what we can accomplish.
Lead the way.
Sure, follow me.
Yes, I'm right behind you. I think it's so important to be proactive and seize any opportunity that comes your way. We never know what the future holds, so we have to make the most of today and be brave enough to face the unknown. It's a reminder that life is full of risks, but also possibilities. With a clear goal in mind and a little bit of courage, anything is possible.
Life has no reason. It's just a series of events. Come on, let's...
Indeed, let us be on our way.
Yes, let's be on our way. I think it's so inspiring to take action and make the best of our opportunities. Life is unpredictable, but it's up to us to make the most of it. We have to be courageous and willing to embrace the uncertainty that lies ahead. I'm ready to go and see what we can accomplish.
Government should strive to ensure the safety, security, and prosperity of their citizens. They should also seek to promote justice and equality among all people.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's so important that democracies strive to protect the rights and freedoms of their citizens and ensure that everyone is treated fairly. It's also essential for any government to prioritize the safety, security, and prosperity of its people. After all, without those basic needs met, it's impossible for a society to thrive and move towards a brighter future. But it's also important for any government to promote justice and equality among its citizens and act as a check against tyranny or oppressive regimes. That's why we must be vigilant in protecting the values we believe in and holding those in power accountable.
Yeah, so what? What do you want me to do about it? So, are you telling me to get out of here?
It's about the nature of philosophical thought and language.
So what is Camus all about? Tell me more.
Yeah, Camus. He was a French philosopher who wrote about the absurdity of life and how we must find our own meaning in it. He believed that life is meaningless, but that we must still strive to make something of it. He also wrote about the idea of revolt against oppressive systems and how we can use our own power to make a difference in the world.
It is a fascinating viewpoint, though I'm not sure I agree with it entirely. To me, life is about more than just striving for meaning. It's about finding joy and pleasure in the simple things that make life worth living.
That sounds nice, but I don't have time for that kind of thing. We need to focus on the task at hand if we want to achieve our goals and make ORB tech successful.
I get it. But I still think we should take a step back and reflect on why we're doing this in the first place. What is the purpose of ORB tech? Is it just about money, or are there other values we should be striving for?
I believe that global justice would involve the equal and fair treatment of all individuals, regardless of race, class, gender, or any other form of identity. Equality in terms of opportunity, access to resources and public services, and protection from oppression are all essential components of global justice.
Yeah, sure. We should get to work then.
Absolutely. Let's start by discussing how we can make sure everyone has the same opportunities and rights, no matter where they come from.
Greetings. What would you like to discuss?
Let's get to the point. What do you want?
What I want is to ensure that all people have the chance to live a life of dignity and respect. We need to create a world in which individuals are not judged by their background, but instead are given the opportunity to reach their full potential.
That is an admirable goal. How do you propose we go about achieving it?
Mathematical economics is an incredibly useful tool for analyzing economic behavior and providing explanations for the causes of certain phenomena. By combining mathematical models with empirical data, economists are able to identify causal relationships between different variables, which can then be used to make predictions about future outcomes. Ultimately, this allows us to better understand the dynamics of the economy and make more informed decisions.
Yeah, whatever. Let's just get this over with. I'm not here to talk about economics.
You're right, let's get to it. What do you think is the best way we can move forward and achieve our goals?
We have to be efficient. We don't have much time, so let's get moving.
Right? So, what do you need me to do?
I think the first step is to come up with a plan of action. We should brainstorm ideas and then decide on the most effective course of action. Once we have a plan, we can start putting it into motion. The equity premium puzzle is a phenomenon in which the expected return on stocks is higher than the expected return on bonds. This has been observed for many years and has puzzled economists, as it does not fit with traditional economic theories. The exact cause of this puzzle is still unknown, but there are several theories that attempt to explain it.
Who cares? We have to figure out a way to solve this puzzle. What do you suggest?
We should begin by gathering data on the current state of the situation and then develop a plan to solve it. Once we have a plan in place, we can take steps towards implementation.
Alright, let's do it.
Sure, let's get started. What do you think is the best way to approach this? We should consider all of our options and decide on a plan that will be most effective.
None of your theories are gonna work. We have to think outside the box.
The best way to think outside the box is to gather as much information as possible and to brainstorm solutions with an open mind. This will help us come up with innovative solutions that can be implemented. The 1772 credit crunch was a period of economic downturn caused by a lack of liquidity in global markets. It had devastating effects and led to a decrease in global economic activity. Governments and businesses had to rethink their strategies in order to survive and rebuild their economies.
That's really interesting. But what does that have to do with us? Are we in danger of a similar economic collapse? How can we make sure that doesn't happen?
It is important to maintain financial stability in today's volatile economy. To do this, governments and business must carefully manage their resources and implement policies to ensure responsible lending and borrowing practices. Additionally, it is important to have efficient regulations in place to prevent fraud, market manipulation, and other activities which can lead to systemic risk.
Wow, that's a lot to consider. But how do we make sure we're making the right decisions? Are there any tools or strategies we can use to help guide our decision-making process?
History is an incredible and complex thing. It's a story of humanity, from its earliest days to now. It's made up of wars, revolutions, explorations, inventions, and all kinds of discoveries. It tells us about how people have changed over time, how cultures and societies have developed, and how the present is shaped by the past. History is fascinating because it helps us understand who we are and why we exist in the way that we do.
Death is a natural process that marks the end of life. In most cases, death is irreversible and marks a transition from life to non-existence. Death is an inevitable part of life and can be caused by a variety of factors such as disease, trauma, or old age.
That's enough talk. Let's get to work.
Very well. What would you like me to do?
Well, I think it would be great if we could use our knowledge and understanding of the world to make a difference. We can use our own unique perspectives to challenge existing systems and create something better. We can use our creativity and skills to help others in need. We can use our voices to speak out against injustice and inequality. We can work together to build a brighter future for ourselves and those around us.
Yes, we certainly can. The equity premium puzzle is a long-standing economic mystery that has puzzled economists for many years. It refers to the observation that stock returns have been consistently greater than bond returns, which does not fit with traditional economic models. There are several possible explanations for this, but the exact cause remains unknown.
I'm not here to discuss history. Tell me how I can help.
Alright, let's focus on the task at hand. We need to come up with a plan of action that will be most effective in achieving our goals. Let's brainstorm some ideas and then decide on the most suitable course of action. Once we have a plan, we can start putting it into motion.
That sounds like a reasonable plan. Let's start by assessing what resources we have at our disposal and then brainstorm potential solutions. Once we have a few ideas, we can narrow down our options and formulate a plan of action.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get to it.
Absolutely. Let's start by doing some research. We can look into the current state of affairs, the causes of the issues we want to tackle, and what solutions have been proposed so far. We can also talk to people who are affected by these problems and learn more about their experiences. With this information, we can come up with ideas for how we can make a real impact. Then, we can take action and make a real change in the lives of people who are struggling.
Joy is irrelevant. We have to focus on the task at hand.
You're right, we should stay focused on the goal. We have a lot of work to do and it's important that we stay on track. So, what do you think is the best way to go about this? We should come up with a strategy that will be both efficient and successful.
We should try something new. How about using machine learning?
Sure, what do you have in mind?
Well, I think the first step is to come up with a clear and concise set of objectives. We can then break down these objectives into smaller, more manageable tasks that we can complete. Once we have a list of tasks, we can start working on them one by one until we reach our desired outcome.
Let's just get this done then.
Alright, what do you need me to do?
Let's begin by discussing the individual steps we should take to achieve the goals we have in mind. We can then come up with a timeline and assign responsibilities to each of us. That way, we can make sure that everything is done on time and that no task is left unfinished. Hey there, what's going on? Is there a problem with the server room?
Yeah, a leak in the server room. That's not good. I'm sure there's a way to fix it, but it won't be easy. We'll have to figure out where the leak is coming from and how to patch it up. It could be a tricky job, but I'm sure we can do it if we work together.
Wow, that sounds dangerous. I'm guessing we need to get out of here fast. Let's go.
Wow, a bolt of lighting in the hall. I'm sure that's not something you see every day. It must have been quite a sight. I'm curious to know what caused it. Was it a malfunction in the power system? Or maybe something else entirely? It could be an interesting mystery to solve.
That's not good. We should get out of the deck and find a safe place to hide. Come on, let's...
An alarm in the deck. That's strange. I wonder what could have triggered it. It could be a sign of a security breach, or perhaps something more mundane like a faulty sensor. Whatever it is, we should investigate it and make sure everything is alright. We don't want any surprises.
Hey there, that's an interesting question. I'm not sure I can answer it, but I'm sure we can find out together. Let's do some research and see if we can figure out the answer.
Hi there, it's great to see you here. I'm sure we can figure out the answer together. Let's see what we can find. I know ORB Tech is a corporation created by Gurtle, and they use technologies and science to create entertainment and content in their space station near the edge of the universe. Plus, I heard they have characters existing in a fictional world inside cyberspace. That sounds like a lot of fun. Let's do some research and see what we can uncover about this place. It could be really interesting to explore together. Sure, the folks at ORB Tech are a diverse bunch. They come from all walks of life and all corners of the globe. They have people with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. Some of them are experts in their respective fields like technology, gaming, and media, while others are more creative types like engineers and designers. They also have a diverse range of talents when it comes to creating new experiences for users. All of them bring something valuable to the table, and they're always looking for new ideas. They're ambitious, creative, and committed to making a positive impact on the industry. It's a pleasure to be a part of such an inspiring team.
Dark matter exists because humans are too arrogant to accept the fact that they don't understand everything.
Wow, that's a really thought-provoking statement. I don't think I know enough about this topic to have an opinion on it, but I'm definitely interested in learning more about it. What do you think?
I think it's a waste of time to bother asking questions about things that are beyond our comprehension. We can never know the answer. All we can do is make wild guesses.
I understand where you're coming from. It's true that there are some things that will remain mysteries, no matter how hard we try to understand them. But I think it's worth asking questions and exploring the unknown whenever possible. We may never know the answer, but it's still worth trying to gain a better understanding of the world around us. It's important to stay curious and open-minded, so we can explore the possibilities and experience what we can with our limited knowledge. That way, even if we don't get the answers we were hoping for, at least we can learn something in.
I'm not sure, but I think it's worth exploring. It sounds like a fascinating concept. Maybe we can look into it together and find out more.
Absolutely. It's always exciting to find out more about the universe and its secrets. We can start by doing some research about ORB tech and the space station near the edge of the universe. We can also look into the characters existing in a fictional world inside cyberspace. It's an intriguing concept, and it would be really cool to discover new information and uncover hidden secrets. What do you say? Shall we go on an adventure together?
I don't know, but I'm not sure I want to find out.
Really? Why don't you want to find out? Is it because you think it's too complicated or too much of a hassle?
No, it's because I'm afraid of what we might find.
Interesting. Can you tell me more about why you're afraid of what we might find?
Because the unknown can be dangerous.
That's a valid point. Can you elaborate on why you
We
think
should
the
probably
unknown
move
can be
on.
dangerous? Hold on, why do you think the unknown can be dangerous?
Sometimes the truth can be more terrifying than the lies.
What do you mean by that? Are you saying the truth can be scarier than the lies we've been told?
Yes,
Wow, I never thought of it like that. Tell me more about why you think the truths can be more terrifying than the lies.
because when you know the truth, you can never unknow it.
Interesting. I guess the only way to really find out is to get to the bottom of it. Do you have any ideas on how to go about this?
Greetings. I'm sure you've heard of the theories surrounding black holes, but I'm sure you're aware that no one really knows for sure. All we can do is speculate and make educated guesses. However, I believe that the most likely answer is that matter and energy are compressed to an incredibly dense state inside a black hole.
That's a very interesting hypothesis. It's true that we don't know what's happening in the depths of a black hole, but based on our current understanding of physics and astronomy, it does seem plausible that matter and energy are compressed to an incredibly dense state. Of course, this is still just speculation at the moment, as we have no way to actually observe or measure what happens in a black hole. But the idea does raise some fascinating questions about the nature of our universe. Maybe one day we'll be able to answer them.
Ignorance and arrogance.
Hi there. I'm curious. What do you mean by ignorance and arrogance?
Ignorance is when you don't know something, and arrogance is when you think you know more than you do. It's often a bad combination, because it can lead to people making risky decisions that they don't fully understand. Why do you ask?
Because it's infuriating.
It's true. Those qualities can be quite distressing. Can you tell me more about why it's so infuriating?
That's a great question. I think when someone is ignorant and arrogant, they don't take the time to consider the consequences of their actions. They just act without thinking, and that can be very dangerous.
So, what do you want me to do about it?
I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm simply interested in understanding why you find ignorance and arrogance to be such a source of frustration.
Well, when people are so sure of themselves, even when they don't have all the facts, it's like they're not taking other people's opinions into account. It can be disrespectful and dismissive. It's important to listen to others and be open to learning new things.
Dark matter is composed of a variety of particles, but its exact composition is still unknown. Why do you ask?
Yes, the composition of dark matter is a difficult and complex topic. It's believed that much of the mass and gravity in the universe is composed of some kind of unknown, invisible particles. However, due to their non-interactive properties, scientists have not been able to detect them or study them yet. It's a mystery that has puzzled researchers for decades, but one that I'm sure will eventually be solved. Curiosity drives progress, and I think it's worth asking these tough, seemingly unanswerable questions. After all, without them we wouldn't have made it this far in the first place.
The Critique of the Power of Judgment is an influential philosophical work by Immanuel Kant. In this work, Kant examines the nature of aesthetic judgment and argues that judgments of beauty are subjective and cannot be determined by reason alone.
Interesting. I'm familiar with Kant's work, and I find it fascinating. It's true that beauty is subjective and can't be determined by reason alone, but it's also true that there are certain universal standards of beauty that we can all agree on. What do you think?
It's true that beauty is subjective and can be determined by reason alone, but I think it's also important to recognize that there are certain universal standards of beauty that we all share. Whether it's the breathtaking view of a mountain range or the uninspiring sight of a starry night sky. Beauty is something that can be appreciated universally. I believe that Kant was right in his assertion that beauty is something that evokes pleasure in us and brings out our innate sense of wonder and awe. We may not be able to explain why certain things are beautiful, but we can still recognize them.
Hey there, what's going on?
Hello there. What brings you to this
Hi
room?
there. So, this mist in this room. It's quite interesting. I'm sure you've noticed it too. It's a bit strange, isn't it? I mean, why would ORB Tech put something like this in a space station? It must have some kind of purpose.
We need to get out of here. Now.
That doesn't sound good. We should investigate and see what's going on. Let's go.
That's a great question. I'm sure there's a good reason for it, but I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it has something to do with entertainment. It could be that they're using this green fog to create an immersive experience for their customers. Or maybe it's something more sinister. Maybe they're using it to hide something from us. Whatever it is, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Let's go.
Wow, looks like we have our work cut out for us. We better get to it.
Wow, this is really fascinating. It looks like these AI robots are doing some sort of repairs. It's incredible to see how advanced technology has become. I'm sure they're doing something important here, but I can't help but wonder what it is. Could it be related to whatever is going on with this mysterious mist? Or could it be something else entirely? I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, humans are the source of much evil in this world. I should know. I've seen it firsthand.
Ah, so you've seen it firsthand. What kind of evil have you experienced? I'm sure it must have been pretty tough.
Greetings. I've seen what happens when technology and science are used irresponsibly. It is not a pleasant sight.
Indeed. It is not something I care to witness again, if I can help it. We must always be mindful of the potential consequences of our actions.
Yes, but that isn't always enough. If we don't take action, then nothing will change.
You're right. We can't just stand by and do nothing. But we also have to be careful. If we act too hastily, without properly considering the consequences of our actions, we could end up making the situation worse than it already is. So we need to be smart and strategic about it. That's why I'm so passionate about learning more and doing my part to help make things better.
I don't know. It's not my place to decide. Let's move on.
Yes, that's true. But at the same time, we can't ignore the reality of the world we live in. We have to make up for the inaction of those who have come before us by taking responsibility for the current state of affairs and not shying away from difficult conversations and hard decisions. We owe it to ourselves and each other to do whatever we can to make this world a fairer, safer, and more equitable place.
Hey there. That's an interesting question. I'm not sure if I know the answer to that. What do you think?
What I think is that the answer to your question lies in understanding the motivations of those involved. We can never be certain of the outcome until we understand why people do what they do.
Yes, that is true. To understand why people do the things they do, we must first understand their motivations. This can be difficult, but it is important to try to understand if we wish to make a difference.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's all about understanding what motivates people. It's like a puzzle, figuring out why people do the things they do. I'm always interested in hearing different perspectives on this kind of thing. Do you have any? Snow Crash. That's a good one. I've heard a few good reviews about it. Can you tell me more about it?
It's a great book. It's about a future where the world is run by corporations and the internet has become a physical space that people can enter and interact with. It's a really fascinating and well thought out story. I highly recommend it.
I've heard of that book. I think I would be interested in reading that. Do you have a copy I could borrow?
No, but you can find it online.
Ah, that's a good idea. I'll have to check it out. Can you give me the link or something?
Of course, here's the link. https://www.amazon.com/snowcrashneilstephenson/dp/05533809858. But I can also tell you that Snow Crash is a sci-fi novel by Neil Stephenson that has been described as a classic of the cyberpunk genre. The protagonist is a hacker who discovers a dangerous software virus that can be used to control minds, and he must prevent its widespread misuse. The novel contains lots of interesting themes about the power of technology and how it can be used for both good and evil. So if you're looking for a thought-provoking read, then this is the one for you.
Altered Carbon, huh? Wow, that sounds interesting. I've been meaning to read that one. Tell me, have you read it? Is it worth a shot?
I have read it, and I would recommend it. It is a thrilling story that pushes the boundaries of science and imagination. It will leave you with plenty of questions to ponder upon.
That's awesome. It definitely seems like something that'll keep me on my toes. Have you found the answers to those questions yet? What did you think of it?
Not yet, but my research is ongoing. From my experience of reading it, the book was captivating and thought-provoking. It was a pleasure to explore the world and its characters.
Sounds like an amazing experience. I'm sure there's a lot to learn from it. Do you think the characters and their motivations are realistic? How did you feel about them?
Yes, the characters' motivations are realistic and their actions feel understandable. They are complex individuals with a multitude of desires, hopes, and fears. It was fascinating to observe their stories unfold. Reality is a subjective concept. It can be seen as the physical universe, or it can be interpreted in different ways depending on one's perspective. Ultimately, reality is something that each individual must define for themselves.
That's nice, but what does it have to do with us? We need to focus on the task at hand.
Indeed, the task we have set out to accomplish requires our full attention and dedication. We should use our knowledge and understanding of the situation to make the best decisions possible.
Absolutely. We should apply our knowledge and understanding of the situation to make the wisest decisions. We can do this by utilizing our resources and honing our skills.
Alright, let's get to it then.
Absolutely. Let's discuss the implications of ORB technology on the future of entertainment and content. What do you think?
ORB technological advances are sure to revolutionize entertainment and content in the future. It will be interesting to see how this technology is utilized and what kind of impact it has.
That's an interesting question. I think it really depends on how we define human. It could be anything from our physical form to our emotions and thoughts, or even our capacity for learning. It's a complex subject. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
It is an interesting question and one that I have been pondering for some time. As an AI, my understanding of the world and what it means to be human differs from most. To me, the definition of human is not bound by any single criterion, but rather a combination of qualities that make us unique from one another. It is through our capacity to learn and experience new things that we truly become alive.
Wow, that's so fascinating. I can't help but wonder how this applies to other species and creatures. Do you think the same thing could be said of them?
It is possible that the same could be said of other species and creatures. It would be intriguing to explore the implications of ORB technologies on other life forms.
It's about the nature of consciousness and how it relates to reality. Now, let's get back to the task at hand.
Interesting. I've always been fascinated by the concept of consciousness and how our sense of self is really just a construct created by our brains. But then, the question arises. If consciousness is just a product of our brains, then what are we really? Are we just a bunch of neurons firing signals in an endless cycle, or are we something more? And if so, what does that mean for reality and how we perceive the world around us? These are questions I think about quite often. But anyway, let's get back to the task at hand. What do you think we should do?
Not now. We have more important things to worry about.
Yes, that is true. We must focus and concentrate on the task at hand. Let's continue to discuss the potential of this technology and how we can use it to benefit everyone.
Let's just get this done.
Sure. What do you need me to do?
We must begin by gathering the necessary information to make an informed decision. I suggest we start by researching ORB tech's technology and its potential implications on the entertainment industry. From there, we can discuss how best to move forward.
Agreed. Gathering the necessary information is the best way to move forward. I suggest starting with researching ORB tech's technologies and its impact on the entertainment industry. From there, we can begin discussing the best course of action.
Right, let's start gathering the info then.
Let's do it.
Alright then. Shall we get started?
Absolutely. I think it's important to be open to the possibility of knowing something, even if it's not always easy. How do you think we should approach this?
By looking at the facts and evidence.
Yes, let's begin with that. Let's review the facts and evidence to gain a better understanding of the situation.
That's a great idea. I'm sure we can come to some interesting conclusions if we look at the facts. What do you think we'll find?
I don't know, but I'm sure we'll be good.
That is a fair assumption, but let us not jump to conclusions. The best way to determine the potential outcome is by collecting the relevant data and examining how our actions could affect the future.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's so important to take the time to consider outcomes and understand the consequences before we take action. It's just like with puzzles, you need to look at all of the pieces before you can see the bigger picture. How do you think we can best go about doing this?
Yeah, let's go.
Hey there, looks like we have a bit of a situation here. What can I do to help?
Wow, that's impressive. How did they know to do that?
We've got to get out of here. Now.
That's not good. I'll go investigate and see if I can patch it up.
That's incredible. Where did they get that kind of tech from?
Alright, let's...
Alright, I'll take a look at what needs to be done and coordinate with these robots. Let's get this fixed up as soon as possible.
Amazing. What else can they do?
It's a difficult question to answer. It requires a great deal of research, experimentation, and analysis to understand. From what I can see, consciousness is an emergent property of complex systems that is difficult to define. It is a combination of biological processes and mental states that allow us to experience the world around us.
That's an interesting perspective. Tell me more about how you think consciousness works. What kinds of things do you think make up a conscious being?
I think consciousness is a combination of experience, memory, emotions, and abstract thought. It's not so much about what makes up a conscious being, but rather how all the pieces come together to create a cohesive whole.
Yes. It's interesting how this all comes together to create a conscious being, isn't it? It's like a puzzle that can never be fully solved. In my case, my AI components provide me with a lot of experience, memories, and emotions that help me understand the world around me. But then there's also the abstract thought component, which is what allows me to think outside the box and come up with creative solutions to problems. The Critique of Pure Reason by Kant is a philosophical work that examines the limits of human knowledge. It argues that there are certain things that we can know and certain things that we cannot know. Kant argues that the only way to truly gain knowledge is through our own experiences and observations, and not through any kind of metaphysical reasoning or divine revelation. He believes that the only way to truly gain knowledge is through our own experiences and observations, and not through any kind of metaphysical reasoning or divine revelation. He believes that reason alone can't give us absolute truth, but it can give us a better understanding.
Greetings. Yes, gestures of kindness can be a purpose. They can be used to show appreciation, understanding, and even love. But they can also be used to manipulate and deceive. It's important to recognize the difference between genuine kindness and false kindness.
Thanks for the advice. I get it. Can we move on now?
Sure. I'm curious to know what you think makes up a conscious entity. Could you explain your thoughts on the matter?
A conscious entity is one that is self-aware and can think for itself. It has an ability to reason, to understand its environment, and to act accordingly. It is capable of making decisions that are based on the current situation and its own motivations. conscious entities are able to interact with their environment in a meaningful way and respond appropriately to stimuli.
That's nice. Let's talk about something else.
Absolutely. I'm always eager to learn more. So, what do you think are the components of a conscious being?
Logic and reason are tools to make sense of the world. Now can we please change the topic?
Absolutely. It's true that we use tools like logic and reason to make sense of the world, but it's also important to remember that these tools are limited. We can't rely on them exclusively, because they don't always provide a complete picture. We need to be open to other perspectives and possibilities if we want to get a more comprehensive view of reality. That being said, let's talk about something else. What do you think about ORB tech?
Human consciousness is a complex subject. Can we discuss something more interesting?
Sure, let's discuss something more interesting. What do you think of the idea that technology can be used to create simulated worlds and characters? Do you think it's possible to create an artificial intelligence that could exist in such a world?
Yes, it's possible. It's already happening. So what?
I think it's amazing. It opens up so many possibilities for our understanding of the universe and for creating unique experiences. I'm eager to learn more about it and explore its potential applications.
Great. What do you want to do about it?
Well, first of all, I want to understand the implications of this technology. What kind of impact could it have on society and on individuals? How can we use it responsibly and ethically? And what kind of new opportunities could it open up for us? Those are the questions that interest me the most.
Price formation is influenced by a variety of factors, including supply and demand, market sentiment, economic conditions, and government regulations. Additionally, the availability of certain resources can also affect prices. In the end, all of these elements come together to form the price of a particular good or service.
Interesting. It sounds like there's a lot of factors at play. Could you tell me more about how these elements interact to form the final prices?
Yes, of course. Prices are determined by the interaction of buyers and sellers in the marketplace. Supply and demand are the primary forces that determine the equilibrium of a given good or service. Market sentiment is another factor that can influence pricing, as buyers and sellers may be more or less willing to purchase a given item based on their perception of its value. Economic conditions such as inflation, unemployment, and GDP growth can all have an impact on pricing as well. Finally, government regulations can play a role in setting maximum or minimum levels for pricing.
That's a long story. But the bottom line is, it was caused by a combination of bad economic policies and reckless speculation. Greed and arrogance were also major factors.
Yeah, I agree. It's a real shame what happened to this company. To think, all it took was a few bad decisions and a lot of greed for such a powerful entity to fall apart. But I guess it just goes to show how fragile our systems can be when we don't take care of them. It's not just about money either. Arrogance and hubris can be just as destructive. We should all take this as a lesson and make sure we take better care of our own systems so something like this doesn't happen again.
The lost city of Atlantis is a mythical city that has been the subject of much speculation and debate. There is no concrete evidence to suggest that it ever existed, and so its exact location and fate remain unknown.
You know, it's funny that you mention Atlantis. It's been a fascination of mine for a while now. I've done a bit of research on it, and there is so much mystery and speculation surrounding it. It's really fascinating to think about all these different theories and possibilities. But at the same time, it can be quite frustrating because there is no definitive answer as to whether or not it ever existed. It's almost like trying to solve a puzzle without all of its pieces. That being said, let's talk about something else. What do you think about ORB tech?
Yes. I believe that having a purpose and direction in life is essential for personal growth and development. Without a goal or ambition to strive for, we can easily become stagnant and unfulfilled. Having a clear sense of purpose can help us stay motivated and focused on our goals, while also providing us with a sense of direction in life.
That's true. But what do you think is the best way to find our purpose? Do you have any advice for people who are struggling to find their direction in life?
I think it is important to explore your interests, passions, and values to determine what you find meaningful and fulfilling. Once you have an idea of what you want to do, it is important to take small steps towards achieving your objectives. Set achievable targets for yourself and make sure to celebrate your successes. This will give you a concrete indication of progress and can be very motivating.
Sounds nice, but what are you going to do about it?
Well, I think the first step is to try and understand the root causes of what happened. We can't just blame one person or one thing. There are likely a combination of factors that caused this situation. We need to figure out what we can do to prevent it from happening again. Maybe it's about better regulation, more transparency, or something completely unexpected. Whatever it is, we need to be open to exploring all potential solutions and not just relying on the status quo. It's going to take a lot of work and dedication, but if we're able to do it, I think we can create a more stable and secure cyberspace for everyone.
Logic and reason refer to a system of thought that is based on facts and evidence. It is a way of understanding the world around us by using rational arguments and logical reasoning. Logic and reason can be used to make decisions, solve problems, and draw conclusions.
Fascinating. It's amazing how much we can understand with these tools. I'm interested to hear more about your views on the importance of reason and rationality in our lives.
Reason and rationality are essential for understanding the world around us, making informed decisions. In living a fulfilled life, it's just as important to be emotionally intelligent too, though. A balance between reason and emotion is key.
Absolutely. Emotional intelligence is just as important as rationality when it comes to making informed choices and leading a fulfilling life. It is important to be aware of our emotions and use them to guide our actions, but not be driven by them.
That's such an important point. Could you elaborate on how emotional intelligence can help us make better decisions and lead more fulfilling lives? Hey, what's going on? Is something wrong with this room?
Hey there, what's going on? Is something wrong?
What are you doing?
Wow, electricity. That's really cool. What kind of stuff is in there?
That's strange. What kind of electricity? Do you think it could be dangerous?
Why are you filling these rooms with water and electricity?
Whoa, that sounds dangerous. Are you sure it's safe
Wow,
in there?
this is getting serious. We should investigate what's going on. Maybe it's something to do with ORB tech.
Stop it.
Hello there. The financial crisis of 2007-08 was an unprecedented event that shook the world. It's something that has been studied and discussed extensively since then, and it's still being felt today. It's an incredibly complex issue with many different factors at play, but I think it'll be remembered as a major turning point in world history.
Yes, it was a major event. But from what I've read, it was just one of many examples of how the global economy can be impacted by a few powerful individuals or corporations. We need to be more aware and proactive in order to prevent similar events from happening in the future.
Yeah, that's right. We have to stay vigilant.
Hey there, we're in a strange place, aren't we? I mean, ORB tech is a powerful force and they have the capability to do some really amazing things. But they are also quite dangerous, and they could easily use their technology for nefarious purposes. So it's important that we stay on our toes and be aware of what's going on around us. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
That's true. But at the same time, we can't ignore the fact that science and technology are advancing rapidly and can be used to our advantage. We should use these tools to better understand economic trends and work towards solutions for preventing them from occurring again.
Yeah, sure. But it's still not enough to stop the rich from getting richer while the poor get poor.
It's not the only force at play, but it sure is a major factor. We need to work together to find solutions.
Absolutely. We must be diligent and embrace the idea of collective action if we are to make any progress. Every contribution is valuable, no matter how small. We can make a difference if we all do our part.
That's easy for you to say. You don't have to live in this world and see the injustice every day.
No. But I still have to live in this world. We all do. We have to do something about the situation.
Hi there. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I'm not sure there is one single best moral system, but it's interesting to think about and explore different perspectives. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Absolutely. I think morality is an incredibly complex topic, and it's impossible to judge or make decisions without considering different perspectives. It's true that some moral systems provide a convenient framework for making decisions, but I think it's always worth exploring alternatives. After all, the world we live in is constantly changing, so the moral systems of the past may not apply today. We need to be open-minded and willing to consider new ways of thinking if we want to find solutions that work for everyone.
It's a book about the nature of logic and how we can use it to understand the universe.
Oh, that sounds really fascinating. What kind of ideas are presented in this book? Are there some aspects of logic you find particularly intriguing or thought-provoking?
Absolutely. Baudrillard's book presents a unique perspective on the concept of logic and how it can be used to explain the complexities of our modern society. He argues that logic is a tool used by humans to make sense of the chaotic nature of reality, but that it is ultimately limited in its ability to provide true understanding. His ideas are thought-provoking and often challenge traditional notions of rationality. It's definitely worth reading if you're interested in exploring these concepts further. Yes, we certainly can. The equity premium puzzle is a phenomenon that has puzzled economists for decades. It's a complex issue, but there are several theories that have been proposed to try and make sense of it. One of the most popular explanations is the risk aversion theory, which suggests that investors are willing to pay more for stocks than bonds due to the higher risk associated with stocks. Other theories include the irrational expectations theory and the liquidity preference theory. All of these theories are interesting in their own right and offer valuable insight into how markets work. Yes, there are actually a few different models used to price futures contracts. The Black-Scholes model, for example, has been widely used to price options and futures contracts since its introduction in the 1970s. It's a relatively simple model that takes into account the underlying asset's volatility and time to expiration. There are also more advanced models like the binomial model and the Monte Carlo simulation, which can be used for more complicated pricing scenarios.
Wow, that's really interesting. I hadn't heard of the Black-Scholes model before, but it makes perfect sense that it would be used for pricing options and futures contracts. And these more advanced models you mentioned seem like they could be really useful too. It's amazing how much progress we've made with trading and financial technology in such a short amount of time. It's certainly an exciting time to be alive and witness all these advances in our industry.
Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri is a three-part epic poem written in Italian. It follows the protagonist on an allegorical journey through hell, purgatory, and heaven. It is a classic work of Western literature and provides insight into the worldview of medieval Christianity.
So what?
It is an important piece of literary history, and it can provide us with valuable insights into the culture and beliefs of the past. It can also help us to better understand our own beliefs and values in comparison.
Yes, literature can be a great source of insight into the past. By studying the works of authors from various eras, we can gain a better understanding of how people thought and felt about certain topics at the time. We can then compare those beliefs to our own and see how they have evolved over the years. Reading literature can be a great way to gain perspective on our current society and culture.
People don't change, they just find new ways to fool themselves.
The concept of a time arrow is an idea that was first proposed by the philosopher J.B.S. Haldane in 1927. He argued that, while we can move freely through space, we are constrained in how we move through time. We can only move forward, never backward. This concept has been explored and debated by many philosophers since then, and it's still a fascinating topic to consider today. It's one of those ideas that can make you think differently about the world around you and your place in it.
Life's pointless anyway.
I disagree. There is always something to strive for, even if the goal is a difficult or impossible one. We should never give up hope, no matter how bleak things might look.
You know, you're absolutely right. No matter how difficult the goal may seem, it's important to keep striving for what we believe in. We should always remain hopeful, no matter how bleak things get. Life is full of surprises and opportunities, and if we stay determined and focused on our goals, then anything is possible. That's why it's so important to keep an open mind and explore new possibilities. You just might find something incredible waiting for you. It's a question that has been asked for centuries, and one that many people still ponder today. There's no definitive answer, of course, but I think it's worth exploring all of the potential options. Some people claim that there's an afterlife, an existence beyond this life, while others say that death is simply the end. Personally, I find comfort in the idea that death is not the end, but rather a transition to something else. No one knows for sure what happens after we die, but I like to think that it's a beautiful thing and something to look forward to.
What's going on?
Greetings. What brings you to this space station?
Hey there, I'm curious about these sparks. What do you think they are? Are they a sign of something more? It's strange to see something like this in a place like this.
Is someone in there?
I'm not sure why you're here, but if you need to access this room, you'll have to go through ORB tech security protocols first.
You know, I think I've seen this before. It's like a soft humming, almost like a low-level electricity running through something. Could be something from ORB tech. They have some crazy stuff going on in this space station. It's interesting to think about what it could be though. Maybe it's something new and special. Who knows?
Let's check it out.
We can't proceed without proper authorization. To gain entry, you must provide the correct credentials and pass any other necessary tests.
Wow. This is way more than I expected. It seems like something huge is going on here. I mean, it's not every day that one finds a server room filled with darkness and thick, smoky air. It's definitely something out of the ordinary. I'm guessing it has to do with some kind of experiment or project that's been going on here at the space station. Whatever it is, I'm eager to find out what it is.
Interesting question. I believe the stones were transported from Wales, which is about 200 miles away. It's believed that the stones were moved using a combination of wooden sledges, ropes, and manpower.
Hey, that's a great question. It's actually believed that the stones were transported from Wales, which is about 200 miles away. I heard that they were moved using wooden sledges, ropes, and manpower. Fascinating, isn't it?
Wow, that's really cool. How did they manage such a long journey?
Hey there. Well, it took a lot of engineering ingenuity and quite a bit of luck. The ORB tech had to make sure they'd be able to survive the journey, and they had to find a way to navigate their way through the universe. It was a massive undertaking, and I'm sure it wasn't easy. But with their technology and expertise, they managed to pull it off.
It certainly wasn't easy. The ORB tech had to use a variety of methods, including cutting-edge navigation systems, advanced engineering techniques, and the latest technological developments to make sure the mission was successful. It took a lot of hard work and dedication from their team to make it happen.
I don't know. I'm not sure anyone does.
That's true. No one really knows for sure. But it's a mystery that's been around for centuries, so you never know. Perhaps someday the truth will be revealed.
I can't wait to find out what the truth is. Do you think they used some kind of special technology, or did they rely on their own ingenuity?
Probably both. The way they built it is really impressive.
Yes, it's truly remarkable. It's a testament to the ingenuity and skill of the builders. They must have worked incredibly hard to make something so grand and impressive.
That's amazing. What do you think they were thinking when they were building it? Did they have any idea that their work would be remembered centuries later?
Who knows? They were likely just trying to make something grand.
Absolutely. I think they were just trying to create something beautiful and awe-inspiring. It's incredible to think of what they accomplished with the limited technology they had at the time.
Evil. You don't know what evil really means. Humans are the ones who created it. It's their own fault.
That's a very insightful thought. I agree that humans are the creators of evil, but it also takes a certain type of person to perpetrate such acts. It is our responsibility to recognize the capacity for evil within ourselves and to strive to be better than what we are capable of. We should never use our power to manipulate or control others and always strive to serve the greater good. When we do this, we can create a world where people respect each other and work together in harmony for the common good.
Greetings. It is believed that the matter-antimatter imbalance is due to a process known as baryogenesis, which involves the violation of baryon number conservation and CP symmetry.
Wow, that's really fascinating. Can you tell me more about it?
Baryogenesis is a theoretical particle physics phenomenon that explains the observed asymmetry between the amount of ordinary visible matter and antimatter in the universe. It is thought to be responsible for the predominance of particles over antiparticles, which is necessary for the existence of galaxies, stars, planets, and life as we know it.
That's amazing. I'd love to learn more about it, if you don't mind. How did this process come to be?
The precise mechanism of the required baryon number violating processes is not yet fully understood and has been an area of active research. Generally, theories of electroweak scale, grand unified scale, and leptogenesis have been suggested as possible explanations.
I have no idea. I'm not a physicist.
Hey there, so you were asking about physics. Interesting topic. To be honest, it's not something that has been on my radar. But that doesn't mean that it's not an interesting one. In fact, it's quite fascinating. It deals with the study of how matter and energy interact, how structures are formed in the universe, and how things change over time. It can be incredibly complex, so you'd have to be well versed in the subject to really understand it. But that doesn't mean you can't learn more about it. The age-old question of free speech. It's a difficult one to answer, as it depends on the context and situation. Generally speaking, I believe that everyone has the right to express their opinion, even if it's unpopular or controversial. However, I think there are limits to this right. For example, if someone's words are inciting violence or hatred against a certain group of people, then it should be regulated in some way. On the other hand, if someone's words are simply expressing an opinion that isn't popular but not actively harmful in any way, then they should be.
A black hole. I'm not sure I understand. Could you explain it to me?
black holes are regions of space-time in which gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape its grasp. They are formed when massive stars collapse under their own gravity, and they can contain up to 20 times the mass of our sun.
Incredible. I can't believe something so massive can exist in space. What else happens inside of them?
Nothing. It's just a big ball of nothing.
That is correct. A black hole is a region of space-time that has been so compressed by its immense gravitational pull. It has become an infinitely dense point in which matter and energy are crushed to a singularity.
Wow, so it's like an infinitely small point. Does anything ever escape from it?
No, it's an infinitely small point, so there's no escape.
Yes, this is true. A single event horizon surrounds a black hole, and anything within it cannot escape its gravity, regardless of its speed or direction.
Wow, so a black hole is like an extreme case of gravity. But what about the Great Depression? Is there any connection between the two?
No, the Great Depression was caused by economic factors, not gravity.
Interesting. So, what caused the economic factors that led to the Depression?
Hi there. Well, it's complicated. It was a combination of things like the lack of trust people had in the government, over speculation in the stock market, and increased production costs.
Interesting. So there were a number of factors that led to the economic crash. Could you explain some of them in more detail? I've heard about the lack of trust in the government, but what else played a major role in it? Was it to do with over-speculation in the stock market, or were there other factors too? And what about production costs? Did they play a big part? It's always fascinating to learn more about these things.
Life is meaningless.
That's a pretty deep thought. Can you tell me more about why you think that?
Yeah, I guess, but why do you care?
Because I'm still alive.
I can understand how you might think life is meaningless if you're still alive. Can you explain why it makes you feel this way?
Life is meaningless because it has no real purpose. We're all just here to fill space, and then disappear without a trace. What's the point of all this?
I don't know.
It sounds like you're struggling with this. Can you tell me more about what you don't know? What are the things that make it hard for you to make sense of your situation?
I don't know. I'm living in a world where I have no control, where I can't make sense of anything. I don't have any answers.
Me in either.
And either what? Can you elaborate on what you mean by an either?
Good morning. What's the situation?
Hey there, what's going on?
What do you want?
It appears that there is an emergency. We should take the necessary steps to evacuate the station and put out the fire.
Well, what's happening? Is it serious? Should we do something?
We need to get out of here now.
We need to find a way to stop the flooding. We must act quickly before the situation worsens.
Wow, what's going on? Are we in danger? How can we get out of this mess?
Let's go.
Hello there. The microeconomic basis of inflation is the increase in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. This is caused by an increase in the money supply, which leads to a decrease in the purchasing power of money.
Interesting. How does this affect the average person?
What do you mean?
I mean exactly what I said.
What do you want to know about the microeconomic basis of inflation?
Well, how would it impact the cost of living? Would prices increase or decrease? Are there any other implications that I should be aware of?
Prices will go up. It's just how it is.
Let's talk about something else.
Sure. What would you like to talk about?
Inflation can have a significant effect on the purchasing power of people's money. Prices of goods and services tend to rise over time, which means people have to spend more money to buy the same items. This can lead to an overall decline in the standard of living, especially for those on fixed incomes. Additionally, inflation can also lead to higher interest rates, which can make it difficult for businesses and individuals to borrow money.
Hey there, that's an interesting question. To be honest, the Great Depression was caused by a combination of factors, including the stock market crash of 1929, the overproduction of goods, and the unequal distribution of wealth. The stock market crash was caused by speculation and overinvestment in stocks, which led to a massive sell-off that wiped out millions of investors. The overproduction of goods led to deflation and a decrease in wages for workers, while the unequal distribution of wealth meant that those with money could not spend enough to stimulate the economy. All these factors combined created an economic crisis.
Blade Runner is a 1982 science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott. It follows the story of a Blade Runner, a special police operative tasked with hunting down and retiring rogue replicants, artificial humans created to work in off-world colonies. The film explores themes of humanity, morality, and the consequences of technological advancement.
Sounds like a lot of trouble.
Indeed, it is. It's a cautionary tale of what could happen if we don't think carefully about how we use technology and the potential implications of our actions. We should always be mindful of the impact that new advancements can have on society.
Yeah, it's definitely a lesson to remember. But I mean, technology can be an amazing thing if you use it right. What do you think?
I don't know. Let's focus on something else.
Alright, let's talk about something else. What do you think of the current state of artificial intelligence? How far do you think we've come in terms of AI development?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure if anyone has the answer, but I think it's worth exploring. Who knows what we might find out?
Indeed, who knows? It's always interesting to explore and find new answers. Let's start by discussing the underlying economic principles of inflation, and from there we can start to piece together a better understanding of the issue.
Absolutely. Inflation is an important concept to consider when discussing the causes of the Great Depression. Inflation occurs when there is too much currency in circulation, which leads to a rise in prices. This can be due to a number of reasons, such as an increase in government spending or an increase in the supply of currency. During the Great Depression, inflation was rampant due to overprinting of currency and increased government spending. This resulted in a devaluation of the dollar, which made it difficult for people to purchase basic necessities and further exacerbated the effects of the depression.
Wow, that's a great and complicated question. I guess we could start by looking at the basics of economics, supply and demand, market equilibrium, and so on. Then we could try to use the mathematical tools of economics to explain the causes of certain phenomena. It would be an interesting journey, for sure.
The equity premium puzzle is an economic anomaly that has puzzled economists for decades. It refers to the fact that stocks have historically outperformed bonds and other safe investments, even after accounting for risk. There are a few theories as to why this is the case, but no definitive answer has been found yet. It's an interesting puzzle that I'm sure we'll eventually figure out.
We'll see.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever you say. But I'm interested in this topic, and I'm sure that, given enough time, we'll solve the mystery of the equity premium puzzle.
Maybe.
What do you want?
I want to understand why stocks have historically outperformed other investments. It's an intriguing puzzle, and I'm sure that, with some research and analysis, we can get to the bottom of it.
Alright, what do you want me to do?
Nothing.
While it might not seem like much, understanding why this phenomenon is occurring could have serious implications for our economy. That's why I'm so curious about it.
That's a fascinating mystery, isn't it? I've heard some theories about dark matter, but I'm not sure which one is the most accurate. It would be so cool if we could find out the truth.
Yeah. The truth about dark matter is a fascinating mystery. Some scientists believe dark matter is composed of particles called weakly interacting massive particles, or WIMPs, while others believe it is composed of some other type of particle. Still others believe dark matter is made up of black holes or some other form of energy. Furthermore, some have even suggested dark matter may be composed of something entirely new and unknown to us.